Hi everyone and welcome to Just Love. My name is Paula and I'm here with Judy. Hi Judy.
Hi Paula, hi everyone.
Today we're going to cover some questions that Judy has been asked over the years. There's some really interesting ones in here, so let's start with what conscious memories do you have of being a grey and what kind of work do you carry out as a grey up on the ship?
Okay, a real clear memory I have is of walking into the clinic up on the ship one night, and there was a man lying on the table that we put the patients down on, and he turned around and caught sight of me, and the look of absolute horror on his face was just awful, made me feel quite upset. And I tried to communicate with him, but the problem is up there we only communicate telepathically, and in my grey body I can't use verbal speech. And I couldn't get through to him because what happens when a human is in fear, it's like they wrap themselves in a cocoon. And it's very, very hard to penetrate that cocoon with telepathic energy because the cocoon is of a low energy frequency, being
Like a
fear. Yeah. So I was just about shouting telepathically at him, but I just couldn't get through. So the people who were assisting me, someone put their hand on his head to make him go to sleep. And during the procedure that we were carrying out, we had to remove an implant from deep down in his brain. And this implant was one that had been put in by the MyLab group down here, the negative group. And I can very, very clearly recall my long grey fingers going down through his head and undoing this implant somehow. I can't quite clearly remember how we did it, but I sort of interpreted it as cutting something, and removing it and taking it out of his head. And as I did this, I commented to the other two who were helping me and steadying his head. I said, well, at least now he'll be safe. We've got that out, so that's a big relief. So that was one memory I have. Another memory I have was of reading a page of script in the ET language, and I started waking up and coming back down into my earth human form, and I didn't realise at the time that this was happening, and I started to panic because trying to read the script, and it was becoming harder and harder for me to see it and read it. And I had this moment of panic, oh my God, what's happening to me? And then the next minute I woke up back in my human body in bed. Another occasion was I was having a conversation up on the ship with somebody, and I woke up again, came back into my earth human body, and I could hear this clicking in my ear that was down against the pillow, my left ear. And again, for the moment, I couldn't reorient myself, and I thought there was an insect in the pillow or something. And then as I started to wake up, I realised that I'd actually been having a conversation up on the ship, and it had carried through into my conscious earth human
as
consciousness.
you were waking up.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So that's my memories.
Couple of memories.
Yeah. Main memories of being up there.
Interesting. Okay, well the next question is, what happens to your grey body when you're down here in your earth human form? And also, what happens to your earth human body when you're in your grey form?
Okay, to answer this, I need to point out that down here as Judy, I'm in an earth human body with an earth human brain. This means I can only access about 10% of my potential conscious awareness, which is very limited compared to the 50% or more that I can access as a grey. Also, in this human body, it needs sleep. My soul consciousness is operating both bodies at the same time, but when I'm asleep down here, it frees up a bit more awareness of my life as a grey. We do take time out up there, but not as much as down here, as sleep up there is more like meditation.
Okay.
So to answer the question, my grey body keeps working up there, whether I'm awake or asleep down here, but it does take breaks. And I remember one night, it's so funny, when I start talking about being a grey, my throat starts getting affected. One night I got up out of my body that was left lying in the bed and happened to see myself in the mirror. And I was still in my earth human astral form, and For those of you who have ever stepped out of your body and looked back at your human body, your reaction is, ooh, is that what I look like? And the next minute I started shape-shifting into my grey form, and I had the black hood over my head and everything, and I could still see my grey face inside the hood. And my reaction to that was, oh, phew, thank goodness for that. Now I look normal.
It's so like your the black hood and that, is that like your uniform as working up on the ship?
Yes. It's also symbolic of the very high energies that we work with up there. Sometimes we actually work with energy that's actually beyond the speed of light.
Okay.
And the black is like how can I say?
Grounding thing?
Yeah, grounding, and sort of, it's a way of covering our bodies also so that we don't scare people so much. Well, that probably scares them.
With the hood, black hood. Okay, so the next question combines a few things. So what is the difference between the Zeta and Greys? Why are there so many different looking Zetas or Greys? For example, some are short, some are tall, some have 3 fingers, some have 4, and there are different colours such as white to very pale grey, darker grey, blue, brown, etc.
Okay, Zetas are Greys. They're just one of many grey cultures in the universe. I use the term grey simply to differentiate between humans who have originally been developed out of insectoid species as opposed to ones like Earth humans who have been developed out of a mammalian species. Humans have been bioengineered out of many different animal-type forms throughout the universe, and the Zetas are just one grey culture out of many insectoid types, as are the very highly evolved mantids. There are different looking greys, just as on Earth there are a number of different looking humans of varying size and colours. Think of African pygmies compared to a tall blonde Nordic type. Because the grey culture is spread throughout the universe, there's even more diversity. As for the different numbers of fingers, to complicate that even more, the Arcturian greys can retract their thumbs, so sometimes they have 4 fingers on each hand and sometimes 3.
Yeah. Okay, so why are the Greys here?
The Greys, and particularly the mantid insectoids, are a very highly evolved creator race. They were one of the creator races that were responsible for developing Earth as a habitable planet. Another grey culture, the ant people, were an ancient human species native to Earth, who were known as the gardeners of the Earth. They worked closely with the nature spirits to set up viable ecosystems here, to support a wide variety of species. In this way, the Greys have a very deep connection with the planet Earth. To quote author Jeff Selver from his book entitled The Rising, the Greys are humanity's agents of change. Their specific role involves helping humans to evolve in consciousness. They carry out this work universally, not just here on Earth. This is why they're so well adapted for space and interdimensional travel. Grey bodies are basically spacesuits.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And do the Greys believe in God?
Yes, but on a much deeper level of understanding than is generally expressed through Earth plane religions. The Greys have access to more expanded conscious awareness than people down here, so they can perceive a much wider range of interdimensional energy frequencies. God, or universal source energy, is right at the top of the ladder and permeates all of creation. It's way past the limited 3D concept of God that so many Earth humans link into. With universal cultures like the Greys, it's not so much about belief in God, but rather fully conscious awareness on a deeply personal level.
That's good. So what is the reason for heightened creative and psychic abilities in many who have undergone contact experiences?
Contact with genuine ETs has the effect of raising and expanding our level of conscious awareness, which in turn raises our creative and psychic awareness to a higher frequency. As well as this, people who are taken on board the ET ships are given healing in order to activate more of their DNA. This too is what the genuine ET hybrid program is all about, the activation of more DNA in Earth humans. Some years ago, a series of very extensive surveys were conducted in which over 4,000 experiences of ET contact took part, including myself. These surveys reveal the complete opposite to the negative disinformation so often put out about so-called alien abductions.
Yeah.
People describe massive transformations in their lives, including how their feelings of compassion and love towards others increased significantly after their contact.
Yeah.
They became less religious, but way more spiritual. The belief that their life had a purpose increased dramatically. They became way more tolerant and accepting of others. They became much more ecologically minded and less materialistic. Their appreciation of the simple things in life increased dramatically. They gained much deeper understanding of themselves, and their fear of death decreased significantly, etc., etc. So much transformation.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So this next question is about the human ladder. You often talk about the human ladder here and also in your books, so it is good to revise. Can you explain to us what it is?
Okay, the human ladder is a universal cycle of 10 levels of gradually expanding conscious awareness from 10% to 100% through which we evolve. The majority of Earth humans are focused on level 1, on which we're able to access only 10% of our potential conscious awareness. Here we're talking about consciousness, not brain, so it's not to do with intellect, but rather the ability to perceive a broader spectrum of interdimensional frequencies of reality. This is the evolutionary path that we are undertaking as humans. Our higher soul consciousness has access to all 10 levels, so our evolution is basically an awakening process to enable us to consciously access multiple realities beyond 3D.
And as we live multiple lives on each, we do live multiple lives on each level, don't we?
Yeah.
And so I guess once we've mastered all the lessons and experiences of one level, then we evolve up to the next one and so on.
Yeah. And on Earth, we're learning to handle life at 3D and 4D levels, so that's where our lessons and experiences lie. And most of them are to do with choosing love or fear.
And that's what we always seem to come back to. The free will choice between the oneness of unconditional love and the divisiveness and separation of fear. This choice seems to be what Earth human life is all about. It was really good to go over and revise some of those questions. So if you'd like to read more about all of this and more, Judy's books are available from Amazon, or you can go through the link below. Judy's books are
Human by Day, Zeta by Night, followed by the Zeta Message, then Extraterrestrial Presence on Earth, Lessons in History. And my two most recent books, both Kindle editions and both also available in German, An Interview with an Alien, Comments by an Undercover ET, and Cosmic Spirituality, Blending Religion and Science in Oneness from an Off-Planet Perspective.
Thanks, Jude, and thanks everyone for listening. Please share, like and subscribe. Sending you all much love, and bye for now.